Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for showing up today and coming here for this presentation that I'm about to give. My name is Jovan Rodriguez. If you have any questions, we will leave them later on to the end of this presentation. Um, Without any further, here we go. Okay, so with cloud presentation, we have a lot of things that come with that. Okay, so according to Baka, the five most popular virtualizations are desktop, application, server, storage, and network. Desktops allows you multiple VMs to run a cloud-based desktop on the same physical or virtual server. Excuse me. Server is just a virtual server that you can use instead of having a physical one and using it through the cloud computing. Applications are creation of a virtual instance that need for core business operations, which keep the app software on the local OS. Storage is just a simple way of keeping data secure in a virtual place instead of having physical components on the premises. Network is utilizing both physical and virtual components to create a hybrid network. Next slide. So, for cloud services, we have, as you can see on the slide, we have software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and desktop as a service. So, software as a service allows individuals to run existing online applications, and it's a model for software that is deployed as a host service. This is popular among consumers and companies using it for such as email, networking, file sharing, and there is no requirement about the technicalities that the company handles. I am so sorry about that. There's a fly in there. Excuse me. Um, so an example of that would include Microsoft 365, Netflix, and Zoom. Platform as a service is a cloud delivery model for application composed of services managed by a third party. Now, this is more in the realm of a developer than anyone else. It gives them the ability to build applications and services over the web and deploy them, which include a private and public hybrid, which we'll discuss later in the presentation. Example of this will be Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, Red Hat OpenShift. The next thing will be infrastructure as a service. The ability for this is the ability of delivering computing infrastructure, an on-demand service. This cloud service is a bit tricky. It is used by network architects to provide resources as a virtual machine and virtual storage, and it requires more of a technical knowledge to use. Believe me, it's not as simple as what people make it seem. Example of this will be Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Cisco Meta Cloud. Lastly, is desktop as a service. That is a form of virtual computing that provides remote and mobile services for employees with cloud spaces. Some of the benefits include flexibility, reduced maintenance, cost, and security. One thing that this can help with the new employee that they're hired is the organization don't need to worry about getting any hardware to use to complete their job or individual configurations for that hardware. An example of this would be Citrix managed desktops, VMware Horizon Cloud, and Microsoft Windows Virtual Desktop. Next slide. So, service oriented architecture. Now, SOAs, according to Raza, is a software architecture design that allows software components to behave as separate, autonomous, and loosely coupled network accessible units. The easiest way to explain this will be if you have an application or a game on your device that needs to use GPS to utilize that GPS on your device. That's basically what it would do. It's a way to communicate one system to another, even though they're not the same thing. Next slide. Deployment models. This is where we get into the nitty gritty. So for deployment models, you have four. You have public, private, community, and hybrid. The first one is public. As the name states, it's for the public use and is data created and stored on the third-party servers. Advantages for this include hassle-free infrastructure management, high scalability, reduced cost, and 24/7 uptime. Some negatives, because everything has a negative and a positive. include compromised reliability, data security, and privacy issue concerns, having standardized service options. Private cloud is more of a need to know basis, meaning, unlike the public cloud, you will need to know it and have credentials to log into it. This cloud is suitable for companies that are seeking safeguard their mission critical operations or for business ever changing requirements. The benefits for utilizing this is flexible development and high scalability, as well as high security, privacy, and reliability. Negatives will be the cost, since the required hardware can get very expensive. Third will be the community cloud, as a model largely resembles the private one, and the difference is the set of users, meaning that we're only one company owns the private cloud server. Now several of them with similar backgrounds on the infrastructure are related to the shares, and they share the resources. Advantages of this will be it range from cost reduction, improved security, privacy, and reliability, as well as the ease of data sharing and collaboration. Some disadvantages include high cost compared to the public model, bandwidth capability, and it's not commonly used yet. Lastly is the hybrid. It encompasses the best features of all previous clouds mentioned, meaning it allows the companies to mix and match features of the three that best suits for the organization requirements. Advantage of this is the model are improved security, privacy, enhanced scalability, and flexibility, and its reasonable price. Disadvantage would be or a disadvantage for this would be if the organization is using it but they don't need it. This means that organizations can split their data into mission critical or non-sensitive, depending on how they want to do it. Next slide. So we have security, storage, legal, and privacy issues. This means a plethora of things. Top three I chose was misconfiguration, unauthorized access, and hijacking of accounts. Misconfiguration can be one of the biggest mistakes in the network and the biggest door to an attacker they can see, and they can walk right in without any issues in the cloud data breach. This can also, from many organizations, be lacking of experience of protecting the infrastructure. Unauthorized access is the one way that would be when using traditional hardware and it's kept in-house and so somewhat away from everyone else depending on the security requires. Individuals can go on site and get access without cloud computing environment that will travel the web. They can be prone for attacks. Lastly, hijacking accounts can become a new issue for adoption of cloud computing. Attackers can remotely access sensitive data, store in the cloud utilization employee credentials, as well as changing or falsifying data used in with the hijack credentials. Next slide. These were all my references for the slide today, or for the presentation today. I'm sorry. If you have any questions, you can see me at the end, right in the back of the class. Thank you, and have a good evening.